The authors contributed to the new issue of Intereconomics, Review of European Economic Policy with a paper on the EU's strategy for managing the trade war. The authors argue that to minimize the economic costs of the trade war and protect multilateralism, the EU's best and only response is to retaliate. 0.1 megabits download PDF. This paper was published in Intereconomics, Review of European Economic Policy, Volume 53, September, October 2018, Number 5 pp. 260-268. The first half of 2018 has seen the start of bilateral trade wars with the U.S. China initially, but also the EU and others are confronted with high import tariffs on selected goods as part of the U.S. administration's "America First" rhetoric. The authors discuss what it means for the EU to face a threat to a long-established alliance with the U.S. They argue that not only are trade wars a lose-lose game, but that the EU has no option but to retaliate against U.S. economic aggression. The EU's best option for damage control is to defend the international multilateral system and maintain open and free trade with the rest of the world. View comments. Related content. October 11-1220 in the third edition of the Platform for Advanced Bruegel Senior Fellow Andre Sapper welcomes Tamotsu Nakamura, Dean of Kobe University's Graduate School of Economics, and Maria Essenius, Head of Cabinet, to European Trade Commissioner Cecilia Malmström, for a discussion of the EU-Japan economic partnership in the context of heightening global trade tensions. This paper was requested by the European Parliament's Committee on International Trade, INTA, and analyzes the EU-Japan Economic Partnership Agreement, EU-JEPA. This event, jointly organized by Bruegel and the Graduate School of Economics, Kobe University, will discuss the EU-Japan trade deal and assess its impact. Testimony before the Belgian Federal Parliament. La Commission des Relations Extérieures de la Chambre des Représentants. It is absurd that Europe pays for 80% of its energy import bill, worth €300 billion a year, in US dollars, when only roughly 2% of our energy imports come from the United States, said President Juncker in his State of the Union speech. Europe's largest supplier of energy, Russia, who accounts for a third of that bill, couldn't agree more. Russia's offer to switch to euros and trade with the EU will likely be costly to implement, but the U.S. switch towards unilateralism is forcing its long-standing partners to question the dollar's global dominance. Bruegel Director Guntram Wolff is joined by Alicia Garcia Herrero, Senior Fellow at Bruegel, and Jiang Weiwei, Director at the China Institute of Fudan University, following up a Bruegel conference focused on the potential for closer economic links between China and the EU. We are hosting a number of Chinese and EU experts to discuss trade relations between the three forces. The 2018 annual meetings will be held on 3–4 September and will feature sessions on European and global economic governance, as well as finance, energy and innovation. This policy contribution analyzes the economic consequences of a full-scale trade war. The U.S. position, focusing on bilateral trade imbalances presumably resulting from unbalanced trade policies, is seriously threatening the multilateral trading system. The authors estimate the impact would be damaging for everyone. Though the EU is partly protected by the size of its internal market, it must engage resolutely in a strategy of defensive trade multilateralism. To help evaluate whether the market response is warranted or exaggerated, the author measured the trade impact of additional import tariffs based on standard economic theory, namely two key parameters: the tariff pass-through rate and the price elasticity of demand. The end of multilateralism seems clear, at least for trade. China has opted for a renewed fiscal and monetary stimulus to address the risk of the U.S.-led trade war. The dual policies send a clear signal that economic growth is the priority, but such measures do not come without a cost. Deleveraging efforts will have to be put on hold for the time being. We use cookies to function our website. To read about our cookie usage and our privacy policy, click here. By pressing OK, you accept our cookie policy. Load more posts.